Hey everyone, it's Teresa. I am back today to share with you some projects that I made with my Xtools D1 Pro, and I'm so excited to show them to you. I was so excited that Xtools reached out to me and asked if they could send me a machine, so they have sent me this machine, and this video is sponsored by them, and I can't wait to show you guys the things that I made. So let's jump into them. So I have my 10-inch circle that I believe I got from Hobby Lobby in a pack, and I've got it on my measuring mat pretty much centered up. Now, I don't know about you, but I can never find the middle of anything. So this is one way, is probably not, it's most certainly not the best way, but it is a method that we're going to do right now. Is I'm going to show you just by using a kind of, I actually have a ruler that does this, and I will show you both ways. Just we'll see which one's right, which ends up being correct. So I've got one side of my twine here on that line. We're going to use that, and I'm just going to cut it, and we'll see how well this works. And then I'm going to do this side as well. We're going to, now if you have something to tie it off on, all the better. I do not at the moment, so we're just going to see which way ends up being correct. Now, again, it's a 10-inch circle, so half of that is 5. If you have a second set of hands, I'm jealous. And if you have someone that can help hold this, that's a method where you can take it and stretch out the string both directions to help you find the middle part. We're going to see if this works. So that would be like roughly right there. I'm just curious now. Again, if it's not perfect, it's one of those things that's not perfect. That's roughly the middle. Now I have, like I said, a circular ruler. My husband got this for me because he knows how I struggle with this. And I'm just going to line it up as best I can, because you'll notice it doesn't go out that far, but these ones on the very edge, it is in, I believe, millimeters. So what, 130 millimeters, and there's a half mark, so maybe we're at the half. If I was smart, I guess I would have figured out how many millimeters it is. That is 10 inches, right? This is pretty close, so I'm going to say it's probably right around here. Now, you have to have a pretty skinny mark. So I'll be really honest, there's the one I did with the ruler that may not be perfect, and that's the one with the string. And if I was able to hold it tight, like I was holding or tied onto something, I probably could have gotten a lot closer. So I have to admit, my string method is not too terrible, just saying. Anyways, I just wanted to know where the middle part was so I could line up my laser. So I'm going to show you really quick how to use the software that you use basically with the laser, and it comes in at no cost, which is nice. And first, what I'm going to show you is kind of inserting a design that I've already downloaded. This one is from Creative Fabrica, and it is just a super cute spring flower sign, or whatever you want to use it for, really. And it's an SVG file, so you can take all of the different little pieces and move them around, adjust it, and whatnot. I did not do that. I just took it and went ahead and did what is Unite. I guess if you had something comparable in your Cricut, it would probably be more along the lines of like a weld, if you're familiar with that. And I didn't do any adjusting to it, and I just welded it basically, or united it all together, and then just kind of sized it up. I'm going to be putting this on a 10-inch circle that is already cut out. You could easily cut, like, do either a score or an engrave and then cut the circle around it. That is probably preference. If you have just a big sheet of wood or a sheet of whatever, that is probably going to make it the easiest. So now I'm just going to do a quick little 10-inch circle just to make sure that it is going to fit and that it's going to make sense. And I think it is best to actually leave the circle in, even if you're not cutting it. And that is because when you're doing something called framing, which I'll show you in just a minute, it'll show you basically where it's going to cut, and it kind of helps you get an idea of if you have it as centered as it needs to be, basically. So I'm going to do that. Like I said, this is just for the sake of framing it with on your machine to make sure that it is where it should be in the middle as best you can. It's a lot harder. So there's just to give you an idea. If you do it as an engrave, it's going to completely make everything solid. So I went ahead and did the score option. So I'm just going to go ahead and get my laser set up, and to do this you just kind of find your middle point. There is like a little red crosshair in there, and my arms and everything is going to get in the way in just a minute, but you move your little laser to find the right centered spot, and then you're going to adjust it up and down if for whatever material that you're using. All right, so you've got everything designed, you've got your little shape there in the middle. You're going to go to process. Now, it's that little green dot is basically where you want your crosshair to be. I like mine in the middle on some designs. Some designs I like it in the bottom left, bottom right, top, whatever. And then we're going to go to framing. This is what I was talking about a second ago. So what that's going to do is it's going to outline where it's all going to go. See how it's showing kind of where it is. Obviously in a circle it's kind of hard to get the full picture, but you can see that the line goes across a certain spot on the circle. You can push the button as many times as you want. You can see me poking my head in there trying to see exactly where it's going to hit. Now obviously the design is going to be in the very middle, and it thinks that it's got that circle, so keep that in mind. So once I've decided we're good, I'm going to go ahead and start the whole process. Now this is sped up significantly and you don't want to look at this with your like naked eye. This machine does come with glasses. I want to say that this is actually sped up to like 5 times. So while it is very fast, it is not this fast. So it is just going to score the entire thing with the design. Now engrave is really cool too, and just keep in mind that sometimes you will get some smoke. I'll show you one of the projects I did. I believe the next one it'll show you. You can kind of see some of the smoke. So it's really cool, and it's hard not to watch it. So make sure you have your glasses. So this is the way this one first came out. You'll notice here there's overlapping between the letters. The M didn't really cut right. I don't know if it budged and moved a little bit while it was getting scored. It's entirely possible that it did, because you know these are super thin. They're not necessarily the flattest wood rounds, and like some of these touch when they are not all touching. So I don't know what happened with all that. So I did go ahead and recut it, and it worked out just fine. I also kind of took apart the file. It was an SVG, so I could move everything. So I moved everything and spaced it out a little bit better just to make sure that that wasn't the problem. I don't really know. I can't say for sure why it did all of this funkiness. But while I was doing that, I wanted to test out the concept of being able to stain or wax on top of the either engraving, or this is was a score. So this one up here is the wood tint in the walnut color. This is a antique wax, so like Waverly or Folk Art would be pretty much the same idea. This down here is this gray one from Folk Art. It's a water-based tint, wood tint, and that's kind of like these two are the same thing, just different colors. This is the Shipwrecked from DIY. I did not test out their darker ones because I figured they'd be comparable to this, how dark it is. And then I did this old and gray wood, barnwood patina from DIY is right here. So you can most definitely do that. I definitely think the lighter colors are going to look better on it. Like I have done it many times when I've mixed these two wood tints, and it gives a really nice pretty color. So that would really work. This gray would work. You could do kind of multiple. I think this one looks the best if you want to keep it neutral. I might do this one. I don't know. I'm thinking about what I want to do, but this is how it ends up turning out once I spaced things out. Like I said, I readjusted my laser. I don't know if maybe it was too close and it bumped it and moved it, and which is entirely possible. It is entirely possible. So we are going to, well, not we, I am going to go ahead and apply a stain. I think I'm going to do this. I think I'm going to do this one because I don't do a ton of color, but I thought it'd be really cute. And then this little wood bead thing, the wood bead wreath from the Dollar Tree is going to go right over it. I cannot remember who it was I'd seen that did that off of Instagram. I saw it and it was so cute. And I was like, I love that idea. So if I remember, I will put it down in the description box who I saw do it. If it's you, I'm sorry, I couldn't remember. It was one of my friends, but I thought that that was so cute. So I'm going to go ahead and apply this. I'm going to do it so it'll thin out a little. The first time on my test, I just did that with a brush. So I want to thin it out a little bit. So I'm going to actually just do it with a wet wipe. So I like the way it looks. I think I don't like it enough. I'm gonna actually come in with this wood tint on top of it and see how that is. I mean, these are all experiments, so why not experiment a little further? So here's the finished project. I did add that beaded wreath like I mentioned I was going to before. I just glued it right on top of that wood sign, added a little bow and a jute twine string to hold it up, and you got a really cute sign. I think with a little bit more practice, I'm gonna be like an expert. Maybe not an expert, but you know what I mean. I'll be significantly better. I really enjoy trying out these new things, and especially going in with some not ruining a piece of wood that cost me 50 bucks or something. So I think that it's fun to experiment and get different ideas. All right, so I have a lot of these little mini cutting boards I got from Hobby Lobby. I want to say it was fall. They were there. I got them on sale different times. Once was 50% off, and then another time I think was like 70% off or 60 something. And when I say I have a lot, I mean a lot. I have a lot of these. So we're going to make some of these using our laser. I actually, since I have so many, I went ahead and did this so it would be so much easier. I just traced it on a piece of paper, pretty simple, and kind of found my center point using, like, this was just a quick little, like, fold it, cut it, simple as can be, and I marked it with a little red pencil. That way I know where my center part is when we take it outside to the laser. The laser. It's fun to say. So I've already got my file set up to size that I need. Now this is their software, the Creative Space for Xtool, and this is just an SVG file that I got from Creative Fabrica. I've already got it figured out as far as the size, and we're going to do it as an engrave. So once we are ready to go, we'll click process. My machine is out in the garage, so let's go out there. So this is the smoke I was talking about. This is doing an engraving on bamboo. I just kind of screenshotted it here for you to really see. Just be really careful. This machine I actually have does have an extra safety precaution kind of built into it, where it will set an alarm if there is a flame, and it will turn off the machine. So take a look if this is a machine you're looking at buying. Look at potentially buying that. It's an add-on. I highly recommend it, because it will potentially save you from burning things down that really matter. So I ended up making this, originally I made it too big. So since I had already ruined the piece of wood, I'm just kind of experimenting on it. So I did it again with a better sizing, just measure everything a lot more carefully. But you know, here, if you've been here for a while, I will show you when I mess up too. All right, so last project I'm going to show you real quick. This one, it has some metal pieces that came in the little materials list and material starter stuff. And this is my little bee. I am putting it on a tiny little circle. It's like a 1-inch large stainless steel circle. The picture I'm going to show you at the end is a different one that I did. Exactly the same process. I am on this one though doing a picture, and I'm putting that on a piece of metal And I think if you have an SVG file, I think that is better as far as different options of how it's going to come out. I didn't end up showing you the finished one of this because it's kind of hard to see because it's so thin. The little lining on it is so thin, it's kind of hard to pick up. The other one I'm going to show you is actually of my dog's dog tag that I made. So same kind of idea here though. We're going to set the type of material and they have a whole list of it. I'm just going to put silver as the silver tag, easy as can be. You go to the process, same like we did the first couple of projects as well. And I'm going to start it off in the center. I will say that is super hard, especially on these smaller things, to get the exact center. So you'll see here, it's so small you can't barely even tell that it's under the machine, but it is there. Like I said, it's just really hard to see. And it's, like I said, the hardest thing I think with the whole machine is getting the center spot or the starting spot, whatever you want to call it. That to me is the hardest part. Here's how my little dog tag came out though. Like I said, the lettering was so much thicker, you could see it a lot better. So I figured I'd show you that because it's super cute. She's super cute. So I hope you guys enjoyed checking out this video today and taking a look at some of these projects that I made with my Xtools D1 Pro. I have the links down in the description box if you want to go and check them out. If you have any questions about the machine itself, let me know. I will be happy to answer them if I can. I'm not super technical, but I will try my best, and I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you next time.